Step number one for speaking better English and becoming more fluent in English is to actually learn English. I could not even imagine or could not even think about speaking long sentences and actually being able to articulate my words with English until the point where I was comfortable writing English. Right? There's a very quick distinction. I'll give you a very nice example. I was in fifth class where I was extremely comfortable with the language English itself. I was at a point where anybody could say anything to me in English and I would understand everything that they have said. But I could not communicate in English because I was just not used to that language. Okay, so that is the point where you have to reach, where you can understand everything, where you're good at it in paper. For example, I was good at writing English. I would get good marks in English exams, but I was just not comfortable speaking in English, right? I was not fluent with it. I could not convey my message in English. That is a good spot to start from. If you're already there very well, you can that's very nice. You can skip to the next section. If you're not, my advice for you to learn English is going to be a little bit different than what others would say. Obviously, as usual, watch TV shows, watch movies, and watch anything that you can in English. This is because specifically buying books that are designed to help you speak better English, learn better English are nice. They are good by all means. But I just don't think you can be as consistent and as deliberate with those things as compared to including this practice into you things that you already do. Like you already watch a lot of TV, might as well watch English, switch to like English TV shows, right? You already watch a lot of English movies, might as well like commit completely and watch them in English with the subtitles on instead of watching them in Hindi dub, right? So these small little habits will add up and they will 100% help you get better at learning how to speak English, right? This is just to get you familiarized with the language, knowing the common terminologies, knowing the common slangs, knowing how to use sentences, how to form sentences. All of these things can be learned through movies because oftentimes, if you're watching like a normal movie, very difficult big words will not be used there. It's not very formal, it's very casual, right? That's exactly what you're going for. Watching TV shows, watching movies will 100% do that for you. If you want to go a little bit further, you can be reading books that will help you even more with that. I recommend you read self-help books, but if you can't do that for any reason whatsoever, first of all, you're a bitch. You're just like that's just giving an excuse. But if you absolutely cannot, the second best thing would be to read any fantasy novel whatsoever. Reading is superior to watching TV shows and watching movies. Watching TV shows and watching movies is superior to doing nothing at all, right? But the best thing would be you get like a guide for yourself that is going to help you in improving your English. There are plenty of guides online. You can buy like an infinite amount of books from Amazon. But the best case scenario would be to include all of these things into your already daily routine that you're already doing, right? This will ensure that you do them on a daily basis and that you're deliberate about it. The reason why I want you to do this is not because I want you to learn new big words. Like that's bullshit. That's just like something online gurus will tell you for no reason whatsoever. It's just that they have heard it from someone else and they're going to tell you to do it as well. Learning new words is not exactly what I would advise you to do. Instead, instead, what I want you to do is identify words. Here's exactly what I mean. When you're watching a TV show, when you're watching a movie, identify words that are used extremely often and then learn what they actually mean if you don't know what they mean already. For example, there can be a lot of words that are used on a daily basis that you probably would not understand what it means, or you probably don't understand how to use it in the correct situation. And if you don't understand what it means, if you don't understand how to use it correctly, you're not going to use it at all. So instead of learning big ass words that are not going to be useful for you in the long term or the short term at all, there's a word called pneumano ultramicroscopic scoliovolcanocoliosis. Now knowing this word does nothing for me. It's a medical term. I think it's a some lung related disease. I just googled it really quick. It has no purpose in my vocabulary. It does no good to me. Now that is a very extreme example. because obviously you're not going there's no use in learning that word. What instead you need is learn a lot of small words that are still difficult for you, but learn them in a learn how to use them in situations, right? To make up sentences, make up conversations in your head, and learn them instead of these big ass words that have no actual use at all. I hope I'm making sense. So here's the exact protocol that you're gonna follow. Every single time you stumble upon a word that you don't know the meaning of, that you have made sure that the actor or the actress in the movie uses a lot of times, you go and Google that word and you learn how to use it in a couple of sentences, and then you move on and keep watching fucking movies. It's as simple as that. You don't have to overcomplicate it unnecessarily. And I know you must have watched other how to improve your English videos, and maybe they have told you that you need to revise those words again and again. Bro, listen, unless those words are like extremely rare and they're really used, and you have no idea whatsoever what like the meaning of them is, or in what setting exactly are you going to use them, unless these words are like that extremely rare, there's no need to revise these words. Like you're just gonna stumble upon them anyway later on. Eventually, you're gonna start using these words because of how common they are, because of how useful they are. So instead of picking words that you're never going to use and then learning them and revising them over and over again, wasting your time, learn words once that are useful that you can use over and over again, practice, and then solidify them into your vocabulary. That's, in my opinion, that's the smarter way to do. Because imagine you're building a wall, right? And you're just given like two big ass stones. How are you going to imagine building a wall with just two big chunky blocks of stone? You just put them right there, and there's so much gap in between that they're not tall enough. They're not. There's just so many problems, right? Instead, if I give you like tiny little bricks, you'll be able to completely shield shut the entire wall. That is what we're going for. Build a wall with little tiny pieces and there's no gaps in between. Instead, if you try to build a wall with chunky big rocks, there's going to be so much gap in between and they're not tall enough. There's not the thickness is not right. It's just, in my opinion, doesn't make sense, right? Lastly, in my opinion, why this is like the best approach is because we're basically monkeys, or at least in my opinion, we are. We learn the best by mimicking and by doing things, right? By watching others and then mimicking that. So in my opinion, if you want to learn anything, just watch others how they do it and then just do it yourself. And you repeat that process over and over again, and ultimately you're going to be as good or even better than them. So in my opinion, that's like the number one thing how you can learn English. Alternatively, you could get a thick ass textbook, but in my opinion, you'll just open it for 1 or 2 days and then you'll just forget about it. So I do think that if you incorporate these things, these habits into your daily routine, things that you already do, I think you have higher chances of success. In my opinion, this is going to be the best approach. You could think otherwise, you could buy a textbook by all means, but I wouldn't put too much faith into all those thick textbooks for teaching you English because I didn't learn English by that. My father didn't learn English like that, and most of my friends in school also didn't learn English from thick textbooks, or they didn't even learn it in school. Everybody that I know, everybody that speaks English fluently, saw it a bunch of time in TVs, movies, reading books, and then spoke it a lot of times in conversations and debates in a lot of places. Step number two that you need to be doing in order to improve your English, become more fluent, is this is going to be a little tricky, but it's actually to practice, bro. Yeah, you actually have to practice. You won't, there's no other way. There's no wax on, wax off karate kid bullshit. You have to do it in order to learn it. There is no other way. There's no escaping that. But I could help you a little bit more in learning how, in doing so. Maybe you don't have the friends, maybe you don't have the resources. That's fine. I may be able to help you. But just to give you a little further confidence that what I'm saying is right, that you need to practice, is I remember in my school days, I was amazing in English. Like I would get like the top marks in English. all fucking time. Like in my friend group, I would never even study English. And I was bad at studying. If you haven't watched my other videos, I was like below average kid. So every single other subject, I was like scoring shit marks, and I was scoring like excellent marks in English. And people were like, "Are you just studying English? What the fuck are you doing?" And I would just say, I'm not even studying English. Like I just happen to be good at English. That's because of the movies and TV shows and stuff like that that I've watched. Just incorrect English just seemed wrong in my head. And a lot of people have that, like in a dialogue, where they read a sentence, and if it's grammatically incorrect, they just know that it is incorrect, but they don't know why. Like they don't know that this word is supposed to be before that, this is a noun, and then they don't know the complications, but they know that it is wrong and they know how to correct it. That was me. So I would always get like excellent marks in English, and I would score more than the toppers in my class, and they were all just fucking furious. Like, this motherfucker doesn't even study, he doesn't get marks in any other subject. How the fuck is he scoring good marks in English out of all subjects? And this was very surprising because I was not like good at talking English at all. Like my entire humor thing, like back when I was a loser, entire humor thing was that I was the kid who couldn't speak in good English. Like I would famously fuck up English words in order to get a laugh from people, in order to get a laugh from girls, basically. I was making a clown of myself in order to get the girls to giggle a little bit, which was pussy move, but that's just how I was. I'm gonna be honest with you. I remember this one time in eighth standard, we were all of my friends were out. The entire gang, we were out to, I think it was someone's birthday, and me and one of my other friend, let's call him Bablu, we decided that we're gonna get the orders for everybody. And on our way to the counter, I remember repeating this one line to myself, and I still remember it to this day. I was like, "Can I get 6 inch Mexican patty subs?" And I kept saying that over and over again to myself. And I even imagined like the entire interaction that I would have with the barista lady. She would say, yes, sure, what toppings do you want? How do you want the bread toasted and shit like that? And I would like think up a response in my head for everything, and I would practice it in my head over and over again. And my friend on our way there kept talking with me, kept talking to me, kept saying shit, and I had no idea what the fuck he was talking because of how anxious I was, because I had to show him that I can speak English, and because I had to speak to the lady in the counter in English as well. I this if this like sounds familiar to you, you as well have possibly bad communication skills, poor public skills, low confidence, and you're not very good at English. That is exactly the problems I had. In this video, I'm going to help you with the English speaking part. But that is a part of it, right? Because unless I practiced it a lot of times in my head, I would fuck up whatever I had to say, and I would just end up saying it all in Hindi instead. So practicing it is 100% going to be your lifesaver. Right, so here's exactly what you're going to do. You just need one person to be speaking in English with, right? It can be anyone. It can be a friend, it can be your girlfriend, it can be another female friend that is gay, that already has a boyfriend. Doesn't fucking matter, right? All you need to be worried about is that you are comfortable speaking in English with them and they're comfortable speaking in English with you. You can make a new friend that you think is kind of an asshole for speaking English only in English all the time, and you can start communicating with them in only English. Or you can instruct a friend of yours that you're only going to be speaking to them in English, and that they have to reply to you in English as well. This way, you can both improve your English. You don't have to worry about being fluent. You don't even have to be worried about being correct. You don't even have to worry about being speaking in English all the time, right? Just make sure you get more than 50% of the sentence in English. And if you can't figure out an English word for a particular word, just say the Hindi equivalent. It's completely acceptable to do that. It's even considered a bit cool in like today's generation to be speaking like a English sentence and then just adding a Hindi word in between. It's completely alright. And it's even, as I said, it's considered cool in these days. So do whatever you have to, bro. But you have to practice. Like there's no escaping that. The longer you keep escaping that, the longer you be like, no, fuck it. I'll just learn it another way. I'll just start typing in English. I'll just start texting in English. Bullshit. Bullshit, and you fucking know it, bro. So grab one friend. Right, so I remember I promised you that I'm gonna help you with maybe help you with the communication segment of this video, maybe the practicing segment of this video. So this is it. I'm soon going to start a Discord server when I hit 1k subscribers, and I'm going to hit 1k subscribers pretty soon, I think. I'm at 990 right now, 10 subscribers shy. So like share this video, subscribe from other accounts, whatever the fuck you have to. Get me to 1k subscribers. After that, I'm going to be doing 1000 push-ups live stream, and I'm also going to start my own free Discord server that you don't have to pay anything for. And it's just going to be, I think, an awesome space. I'm not going to let every degenerate person in. Like there's going to be like a funnel system in. So if you're like a relatively high value person, if you're not just there for heckling purposes, if you actually want to improve yourself, actually want to participate, if you actually want to be part of a high value community, only then will you be let in. And it's just going to be an awesome space where you can talk to other people just like you that are on self improvement, want to become more masculine, want to become more disciplined, and you may also get a chance to talk to me. So yeah, be on a look out for that, and it will probably come out very soon. So just be on the lookout, but don't have that as the only resort for you. Like, go get a fucking friend, talk to your friends, and tell them that you want to work on your English. Nobody's gonna look down on you for that, right? So just just have the Discord server thing as a backup, but have your own plans as well. Step number 4, and this is going to be by far the most important thing that you do, because without this, there is no way to improve in anything whatsoever. And this is called feedback. Even if it is extremely rough, even if it is extremely inaccurate, even if it is completely mental, like there's no physical writing down, you're not even thinking very intentionally, you're just thinking mentally that this one thing I did wrong, I maybe want to work on that later on. Even if you do just that, you're still going to improve exponentially faster than someone who is not doing any sort of feedback mechanism at all. The best case scenario would be you've just had a conversation, right? Maybe you've had a conversation yesterday. Today, you sit down and you think back and you just imagine a conversation in your head and you think of as many ways as you could have done better. You just ask yourself this one question: how could I have done better in that conversation? How could I have spoken English more fluently? How could I have spoken? Maybe I could have spoken the words more clearly. Maybe I could have used lesser filler words to fill up the silence. Maybe I could have listened more clearly. Maybe I could have paraphrased some things that they've said. Maybe I could have used this word instead of that word. Whatever you have to do, all of these things are like active feedback. And your goal is to improve 1% every conversation, or at least 1% every time you assess yourself. So every single time, give yourself as many ways as you can improve yourself in. And the more you do that, the better you're going to get. Even if it is just one thing, even if your goal is just like every single time that I assess myself, I'm going to improve one thing in myself, right? So maybe you're like, I'm going to pronounce my words more clearly. Maybe you go, I'm going to pause after the end of every sentence so that the person can acknowledge that I have just ended a sentence that I've said. There are so many things that you can do in order to improve your conversations that you have. You just have to self-assess. Even if you don't have anybody else to do it for you, you can self-assess yourself, and it's completely fine. And it's even very good for you, because most of the times your own assessment is going to be more than enough, and it's going to be very accurate as well. So just try it out. Number 4, and this is the last one, also very important, is practice. If you get some feedback and you do nothing about it, it's fucking useless. So once you learn a new word, go and use it in a sentence by having a conversation with someone. Practice it as much as you can for as many times as you can, and then have feedback about it. How could you have done better in that conversation? And lastly, actually do that thing that you thought about that are going to do better in the next conversation. And this entire cycle is going to be like this. You just got like 3 4 times better in your English speaking skills just by completing this one cycle. As many times as you do that, you're going to get so much better, and you're going to get so much better, so much, and you're going to do it like so much faster. So this is going to be your exact cycle of improvement, right? First of all, you learn. Secondly, you practice. Third, you get feedback. You give yourself a little assessment. What could you have done better? What could you have edited out? Maybe don't use as much filler words while speaking in English, because it's very common, right? While you're speaking Hindi, there's no need for filler words. You can just speak very fluently. While speaking in English, sometimes you may get stuck because you don't know the exact word that you're looking for. It's very common to say, instead of doing that, just get comfortable using silence, and that is completely acceptable. So maybe that is something that you assess, and then you do it in the next conversation. This one cycle of things, these 4 steps are going to improve your conversation skills, your English speaking skills, not by 1 2 3%, in my opinion, by like 100%. And in the next conversation, the next time you complete the cycle again, you're just gonna get so much better, so much faster, and at such an exponential rate. So try it out for yourself. Just do this cycle just one time, and you're going to feel the difference in your speaking skills, your conversation skills, and you can thank me later. If you found this video valuable, I have written a free ebook that is completely free. You don't even have to give me your email. It took me a couple of months to write that bitch. I wrote it as a guide for my younger brother who is going through teenage years. It was a guide for him to transition from his teenage years into adulthood, becoming a man. In my opinion, it's everything that I know in order to turn a boy into a high value young man. There's everything that you need: building an aesthetic physique, to improving conversation skills, being more disciplined, building habits, breaking bad habits, everything that you can imagine. It's completely free. It's the first link in the description. If you're interested, you can check it out. And I'm building a community of high value men, or men who want to become high value. If you think you're one of them, subscribe to my channel right now so my videos can find you more easily, and I can help you in your own self improvement journey by videos just like this every Monday and Thursday. And I'll see you in the next video.